Is Justice League headed for troubled waters because of Amber Heard? What about the Chan? Is he joining DC Universe? Justice League Dark going animated, and huge news out of E3 coming your guys' way.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC Movie News.
I'm not even going to give you crap for saying Amber Heard instead of Amber Heard.
Is that what it was? Did I say it wrong?
Oh, boy, that's right.
I just saw the laughing over there.
Out the gate, that's right. The dynamic duo's in the house today.
I'm dropping it out of the gate.
Listen,
out of the gate.
I'm going to be your recalcitrant Robin over here.
I always thought it was Amber Heard.
Oh, boy.
I have it right in front of me, too. I'm reading it wrong. I typed it wrong. I taped it wrong.
Oh, boy.
All right. Is that my...
I don't know.
That's my stream,
We're going to listen to this. We're sponsored by Geico today, so we're going to listen to this.
I'm watching the stream here, and I turned it off. There we go. I'll put it on silent. My
so,
fault.
Mikey Christmas in the pilot's chair today, and everything's going smoothly. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a week, but we're back. We're good. We're talking Amber Heard.
Talking about Amber Heard, Amber Heads of Grain. So we had a little trouble getting a squad together yesterday. I was shooting FX. You had a show. Jay LaQuasto was off in Comedia Land. Roxy was like, yeah, I'm going to do a solo Never in This Life. And then she couldn't be here today. So we have the dynamic duo, Batman and Nightwing here. Bringing it to you because we didn't want to let a week go by without a little DC movie news.
No, there was talk. Should we cancel? But no, we can't cancel.
Yeah, exactly. And then some people on Twitter were like, "Oh, great, please cancel." And then we were like, "Oh, no, definitely not now. Now that you want us to cancel, we're gonna go and do something, and I hope we offend you." Oh, I hope we offend you.
Hey, Adam's giving me a mulligan on that one.
All right, good. You got a mulligan?
I got a mulligan.
All right, give him a mulligan.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it as much.
All right. Let's do it. Should we dive in? What are we gonna go
let's
with?
dive in. I'm trying to get the interwebs up here. I'm not having the best time, but whatever.
You got the internets?
We'll see
Show me
how
how
it
the
goes.
internets works. Yeah, I'm usually Johnny's the guy with the internets in the chat room, so I'm gonna help out and see what we got going on here. What story do we want to go with? Want to go with Justice League? All of our news on the
so I think the first thing that we were going to talk about was one that we actually talked about last week, but I'd like to get Mikey Christmas's point of view. And
my perspective?
That was the title of the Justice League.
And it's Justice
because
League,
I think
right?
this is going to lead to the next official bet. As you know, if you follow this show, Mikey Christmas and I had sort of a gentleman's wager going about
gentleman's wager
about whether Batman was in retirement prior to Batman v Superman,
right.
And I was like, "Oh, he's totally retired," and I was totally wrong. There was absolutely nothing to indicate that Batman was retired.
My guess was a little off because I had said he sits in the Batcave, had drones kind of patrolling the city. I was not 100% right either. We were both kind of in the wrong.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What's this bet one? What
So the title has been revealed by Jeff Johns.
Right. And I love, didn't he? I mean, he came right out because there was all that talk. There was a couple fake titles out there, and Jeff Johns stepped up and go, no, this is the title. So I think that's kind of, we're saying that's his role now.
In a way, isn't it exciting to see him just at least make some move? Yeah. Just at least to say, hey guys, I'm speaking. Because even going back to our first DC movie news, before you joined us, I was saying, like, this is so weird that we don't have a spokesperson.
Yeah,
like that Kevin Feige guy. Like, we don't have somebody, and then we get the slate, leaked from a board of directors or a board of investors.
Right.
Kind of thing. And it just felt like in a comic book world, you want that element of fun to make the business stuff go down a little bit easier.
Yeah, of course.
So Jeff, oh my God, hello. I'm down here now. Batman. Let's go get him, Batman. I just get down. So, as I was saying, so Jeff Johns said the title is Justice League, and a lot of people said last week that wasn't news, but then I was kind of interpreting it like, all right, well, he didn't say that the first one is just called Justice League.
Right.
And then I was sort of intimating, and it's my opinion, that I think we're going to get post-Justice League, the slate is going to be shaken up.
Okay.
I think Aquaman is definitely on track, The Flash is on track, but are we going to get that Justice League that 1 year after, or do you think you're going to get the Batman movie before Justice League? Are they going to adjust the broader scope of the story that they're telling now, and not just saying, oh yeah, we're just doing Justice League 1, taking a year, and then doing Justice League 2?
It's interesting. I don't know, because is Sneider going to stay on for 2, or is this their way to go? Okay.
Well, here's another side bet we can have.
to-
I say there's no way in any of the multiple DC Earths is there an Earth that Zack Snyder directs Justice League to. That's what I'm saying right now.
I think there's you definitely feel a shift online for DC in a positive way right now.
Definitely. And you know what? A lot of that has to do with James Wan.
Yeah, he's becoming
Because
kinda
he's
like,
been speaking a lot about Aquaman recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Were we going to talk about this at all? I don't know if this was an item, but like,
Well, let's talk about it. We got all day.
Listen, here's a guy, James Wan, who's on such a hot streak with movies. I haven't even seen the Conjuring movies, but like
No,
they're so well regarded.
Yeah.
They more so than like you could say like even Zack Snyder's films from the beginning, it was like hit, miss. Some people love, some people not. James Wan has so much good regard, so much goodwill. How can you not be anything but excited about what he's going to do with Aquaman?
He is now. He did some of the Fast and the Furious, right?
No, that's Justin Lin.
He was never involved in any of them.
No.
Because I know he did the Saw films.
He did
some Saws.
Insidious. He did Saw. He did.
Okay, so horror is more of his background.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a huge breakout for him. And yet what he said about Aquaman is there is going to be lightness, there is going to be humor, but you're dealing with a lot that's happening in the ocean, and it's just very exciting. Like, for me right now, and I'd love to hear what you guys in the chat stream think about it, like, yes, of course I'm excited for Justice League, but everything, I'm also a little trepidatious about every film that's coming out. Aquaman, I just have, right now, unbridled excitement. I'm excited about Suicide Squad, but I'm definitely nervous. I'm excited about Justice League. I'm definitely nervous.
For me, Suicide Squad, I don't have not to say I don't have anything invested. I'm not a bad guy fan.
Right.
I'm not a big. I love the bad guys. I'm excited to see Batman in this film.
So you're saying it's hard. It would be harder for this film to disappoint you because you have less invested in
absolutely.
it, but you do have a lot invested in the Joker and Harley, and you want to see that
where it ties in. And apparently, and guys, I appreciate on Twitter everyone that's kind of people have been throwing out. Apparently, the ultimate cut has leaked online
for a little bit. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I heard the whole thing is out there.
Okay,
and they are, but
did you hear the
officially
specific
releasing
things?
clips? I have. Shut off everything. I don't want to know. I mean, I'm going to download it, in a week and a half?
I watched the Superman outside the courthouse thing.
Don't tell me that. I didn't see it. But there's one scene, there's Bruce Wayne in a shower. Have you seen this one?
So you're saying that...
That's mild sensuality.
More sensuality?
That's sensuality. I was like... First of all, he looked huge. He was like...
Whoa! Hey, Mikey Christmas!
No, come on
On
now.
the
Come
ones
on
and
now.
twos. He
Come
said
on
Bruce
now.
Wayne is in the shower and he looks huge. How else am I supposed to interpret that?
Come on now.
Was James Gordon also in the shower?
No.
Okay, because that's going to be some slash fiction that people are going to starting right now. God.
Oh, wait. So, yes, Juan did Fast and Furious 7, they're saying in the chat.
Oh, did he?
I knew it.
Oh, he did? I thought that was
I knew he
just
was
Lin.
in there. I knew he was in there.
So Lin did all the other ones?
Lin did 4, 5, and 6, as they're saying right now, which I remembered. He was the one that kind of changed the tone of this series. And then Juan did 7. I thought so.
All right.
Okay,
well,
but anyway, back to the leak stuff. But apparently there's a scene at the end that ties into Suicide Squad, like really well. Everyone that's watching this leaked version, they're saying it puts to rest a lot of the problems people had. Like, this is what they should have released, what they're saying. And I see the reasons why they didn't do a 3-hour cut. I get all that. We're beyond that. We've moved on.
Sure.
I can't wait to see it in a week and a half. But with Suicide Squad, I'm not as, not to say invested, but it's not going to disappoint me. I'm not going to, but I think if it doesn't live up to it, it's not going to hurt our upcoming films. Like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash, if those are bad, or whatnot, that's the problem.
Yeah, it seems like there's certainly not isolated. There's not as much pressure on a Suicide Squad film as a Batman v Superman. This is a film that you secretly want to overperform, but if it does like what you expect, you're happy with that.
And I was talking to some friends the other day, and I thought about it. And now, between now and Suicide Squad, I was like, wait a minute, this is a summer movie season. We're just starting it, technically. And there's nothing really I'm looking forward to till that movie. There's the Bourne film, which is the end of July. Mm-hmm. And nothing I have to see.
It's been a crazy movie for like
summer.
sequels. Like sequels have dominated so long, and like there's so many bombing sequels right now.
It's not doing well.
This summer is just they're not guaranteed money anymore. I think
the hype behind Suicide Squad is so good. I think by that time, and especially we'll talk a little bit later about Comic-Con, I think that movie's going to go gangbusters, because by that point in August, we're not really going to have that many great films unless Independence Day does great or whatever, that the audience is going to be craving just a fun, kick-ass movie. And I think Suicide Squad will deliver on that point.
Yeah, I think obviously it's a little bit obvious, but if the buzz, I predict there's going to be some screenings around Comic-Con. If Warner Brothers is confident in this movie, there's got to be. They have to.
Yeah.
Listen, put it this way. If they don't show Suicide Squad at Comic-Con, there's trouble in the water. And not the Amber Heard kind of trouble in the water.
Amber Heard.
Because that's a couple of weeks now before the release.
Yeah,
and that's
like
what
2
you need
weeks,
to
right?
do. You need to start that internal buzz. You see, the most strength that we have as nerds, as geeks, as comic book fans, we don't have enough numbers to make a film $1 billion, but we seed the hype. We seed the hype and we leak that hype to other people,
Or
the normals of the world, and they're like, oh, those geeks are really excited about this movie. Maybe I need to see it. And that's how they make $1 billion.
It's so interesting you say that because it goes one or two ways. It could go the Deadpool way, where Geek Buzz got that movie made.
Yeah.
Or it goes the Scott Pilgrim way, where at Comic-Con, it blew the doors off everything. That was the huge talk of Comic-Con. Because everyone there, that's their audience. But then it gets to the regular audiences, and everyone's just like, what is this? Why are there cartoon graphics? And it bombs. So it's like, it's a thin line to tread.
Yeah.
But we are now in the zeitgeist of comic books, even like average movie fans. They want to be part of that cool stuff. And we're kind of like the forebearers of it as geeks. Like, yes, this is cool. Watch this.
What we've heard about Suicide Squad, some of those reactions were like, this is a straight-ahead action movie done well. I think that's what you need. That's what you want here. You don't want something that's too esoteric, too out there, too hard to follow. That was a lot of the problems with Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of strings going on, and I think that just had to do with. It was just so many things getting decided as they were making the film, and then they had to add in these other things. Like, I still don't. I mean, you could take out that Aquaman scene. Like, that didn't make the film any better for me. Like, I didn't need to see Aquaman like that. Like,
I get why they did it.
I get why they did it too, but it didn't add anything to the film for me.
Right. Like, we talk like the nightmare scene, as cool as it was, did not need to be there. You could have had Bruce's computer and the Flash pop up to build that the future something's there.
Yeah. But of any of the Justice League characters that were introduced, the Flash one did work the best for me.
Yeah.
Because I
think
got a sense of his character. I got a cool sense of the powers. It made me ask questions. I need to know more. I need to know more.
Right.
And again, I think Ezra Miller with just a few lines.
Yeah.
I'm too early. I was like, what's going on?
Right,
It really, really excited me. As opposed to the other scenes where it really just seemed like we're gonna pause from this movie right now and it's coming soon in the DC universe.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
All right.
I'm excited for that film coming out, the Ultimate Cut. Looking forward to it.
I'm very excited. I'm not going to be able to wait for the Blu-ray, so I don't know.
No, I'm buying the digital. I'll buy it, and I'll buy the Blu-ray.
Hate
do you guys know, like, when you buy it digitally, like, say, through my PlayStation store, do I get the special features, too? Or do you just get the movie?
Oh, I bet not. I mean...
Well, that's a bunch. Anyone out there know this? Anyone out there, guys, can answer? Like,
I know that sometimes
I've never
they do
bought
that.
a digital movie, like, on my computer or through iTunes. I get it, and then it's got the digital you can download with it.
They've been doing it on iTunes more and more. Like, I bought The Force Awakens on iTunes before it came out on disc, and it had all of the special features.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Including some bonus ones.
All right.
Okay, but then they're releasing the actual Blu-ray like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I mean...
I'll buy it.
I hope they put some stuff on there, but we'll see.
The special features look great. Anyway, all right, let's move on. What else we got now? What do you want to move on to?
I don't know. What you got there?
You want to go to Justice League Dark?
Yeah. What, the animated film?
Well, we originally thought it was going to be live action.
Right.
Remember, it wasn't on any of the slates. There's no casting. There's no director talk. It seemed like Guillermo del Toro, that was the last I had heard.
Right, and then the last we heard was that they were still using his story, the very familiar Guillermo del Toro story of like, oh, I'm still going to be a producer, but I'm moving on to a different film. I almost made him Israeli there. No, he talks more
You
like
sounded like
this.
the guys from
This is what he talks more
the
like.
Salt guys from Superman.
No, he's more like this.
I want to make Superman and fly in the movie.
This is my Guillermo. We want to do nothing in Dark. Obviously, a very good film, like Constantine, Zatanna. But for this I would need $287 million to do the film properly. So at this point, I'm still producing, but I don't know if I will make the film.
Give it up! Holy God!
Not a bad Guillermo, huh?
That's him.
All right.
Have you ever heard his what are they called? His director's commentaries on films?
Yeah.
The funniest things. He did one for Blade 2, and he was talking about like the bad guy. He's like, look at this guy. He's like fucking Michael fucking Bolton with the hair. I lost it. So that's.
We need a guy like Michael fucking Bolton with the hair everywhere. He's very, very excited to do this in the movie.
That's perfect. Perfect. But anyway, so that was the talk. But now apparently it's going. They're saying on all the DC movies when you buy them, they always give like a 10-minute sneak peek of what's coming next.
So did you see Justice League versus Titans?
No.
I haven't seen it either. What did you guys think?
One I saw was Bad Blood.
I was gonna get it on digital download, and I still haven't got it.
I almost bought it the other day, and they always do 3 a year, and 2 they said were set in the post Flashpoint New 52
Right. But that I feel like is gonna change.
Yeah,
post Rebirth.
and then they do one random one. Now this year we had Bad Blood, and now Justice League versus Titans, and then Killing Joke. So Killing Joke is their kind of random one. But their first one next year is now Justice League Dark, which I don't think is going to be in that 52. And now that there is no new 52, I wonder if they've changed that.
But Justice League Dark only exists post 52, right? It's like it's only a 52 invention.
I guess you're right.
But listen,
Yeah, I guess so.
I think much like Assault on Arkham was a precursor to the Suicide Squad film.
Yeah.
I think everything is lining up properly at DC. A couple of years ago, it was over a year ago, like DC moved out here, they moved the publication.
Yeah, 1 year ago.
It's taking a long time. These are tectonic shifts. These are geological, seismic movements, but
it's all in the same house.
It's lining it up now in the same house. So I think that we want people to get familiar with these characters. You also want to make sure that the characters that you go and read in the comics are related or relatable to the characters you know from the TV shows and the movies. I still think this is incredibly exciting. Like I want Swamp Thing, but I almost would be more excited for Swamp Thing as part of a Justice League Dark kind of thing, and just get a flavor of Swamp Thing there, and maybe that leads to a Swamp Thing movie. Like you can have multiple strings going on here.
Assault on Arkham was what, 2014? I think it came out
something
summer?
like that. That
so
sounds
now 2
about
years
right.
later we've got Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing to test.
It's been buzzed about. If it's in production, like we just don't really know about it, but it's a very good chance it's in pre-production. And we know that they have done a lot of extensive pre-production. We know Guillermo's talked about it a lot. So, would you guys be excited to see Justice League Dark? Like that seems like I would be excited about that. I want to see that.
I would too. I think. I'm not into the magic stuff. Like Constantine, that show, I wasn't really into it. You know, Preacher and stuff. I'd love to see Zatanna, though. I would love to see a Zatanna kind of pop up in there. I think she's great. I do like Swamp Thing.
I wouldn't love to see Zatanna. Wouldn't wake up and love to see some Zatanna.
But that would be a definitely interesting mix.
Is that okay? She's of age, right? I'm allowed to creep on Zatanna?
Okay. You can creep on her, sure. Why not? All right, what are we going to go for? What do we got? I'm interested. I really want to see like a Red Sun movie in Kingdom Come. Those seem ripe for the animated stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully at Comic-Con.
They didn't do a Kingdom Come movie yet, did they?
They haven't done it yet. And that's a ripe for animated.
I'm telling you, if this Killing Joke movie does better than expected,
I think it will. Because they're premiering it. Like, it's going to be, did we talk about that
It's a Fathom event. Yeah, we talked about that. It's going to be in theaters.
That's going to be great.
We're going to be there. Hopefully you'll be able to join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew you put down here Channing Tatum as Gambit, possibly out in a Shazam. I know we kind of talked about that a little bit. Some people would be really excited if that was possible, but then other people have debunked it, saying Channing's still Gambit, which
I don't even think that Gambit movie's happening. Like, why? I don't think people are calling for a Gambit movie. I think he was just attached maybe years ago to it. I think he's a terrible choice.
Here's the thing. If you're Fox right now, and unfortunately Fox is not going to be at Comic-Con, so we're not going to get too many teases. I have a lot of faith, maybe foolishly so because I haven't loved any of the first two, of the third Wolverine movie. I think they're going to pull out all the stops. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. We don't really know beyond that. We know they're doing a Deadpool 2. We know that X-Men Apocalypse really underperformed. And what's the excuse there? Because you have Bryan Singer at the helm. Yeah, really underperformed.
Yeah.
For an X-Men movie. So
it kind of came and
coming
went.
off of a really good X-Men movie. So it's like I can't really understand it. Like some people say there was just too many comic book movies one after another, and maybe this is what's going to happen. Maybe we're not going to get as many comic book movies made, and only the cream are going to rise to the top.
That's, it's interesting you say that, because when did that movie come out? 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago.
I was talking to some friends about, a guy came online and he was asking me about, all right, Mike, now time has passed. What do you like better, Batman, Superman, or Civil War?
Yeah, I saw this guy on Twitter was really trying to get
I was going through some of stuff with I'm from Orlando,
right?
And I was dealing with that all week.
It was a rough week, and then this guy I just
didn't want to get involved in Twitter stuff. Yeah. But Civil War was a fantastic, fun movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
But that movie's been out a month now. No one's talking about it. But online, there's still the talk, good or bad, about Batman and Superman. So say what you will, whether it's a bad film for you, good film, messy film, it's still being talked about. So that says something about a film. It's got legs. So it's just like, but with these X-Men movies, it came out and came and went. No one's talking about it. It's just like, and maybe that's because we're in this summer season, or we're in this typical season where now there's one big movie, one after another. You don't get those times for those films to breathe.
Here's the thing. I told the guy I absolutely loved Civil War just because I think it was a third movie. It was a great payoff. We've had great build up. And as I told the guy, I was like, I've been collecting Captain America comics since the awesome 350, right? Yeah. When it was like John Walker and I think he was just the captain at that time. Amazing cover. It's a totally different situation. Like, this is launching universe, and it's a totally different tone that they're trying to dial in. I really respect that Warner Brothers DC is trying to make a different kind of movie. They're trying to find their tone and stand out.
A connected universe, but it's...
from a cinematography point of view, there's no question, like, Batman v Superman is the more beautiful looking film.
Right.
You know what I mean? But ultimately, I don't want just pretty pictures, and I've said that, so I'm not contradicting myself. But
I'll say this: Civil War, never once is there these lulls where you're like, all right, let's go. There's a lot of that in BVS, but they had to have it. But Civil War, once it starts, it goes. Yeah. There's never a point it's like, oh, I can go to the bathroom right now.
But here's the thing just to talk about the X-Men, the reason that this really bothered me, this film, and I've been on board with all of them, and I'll forgive X3, and I'll forgive Wolverine Origins. What really bothered me is, like, they did so much in Days of Future Past to try to relaunch the timeline, and here we go, guys. Now we got it. New timeline. All right, we're on board.
We fixed it.
And then here's even this little bit with Wolverine clearly taken away by Mystique. We're just gonna ignore that? Are you kidding me?
I didn't, and this is again.
How does that happen?
For me, when I'm like watching these movies, I forgive so much. But one guy goes, Mike, why is Havoc not like a 45-year-old man?
That's the thing. The whole time I'm thinking about this timeline. Why are they so young?
I never thought about it because I let it go for goodwill, but I'm looking. I was like, why are these characters?
Why is Rose Byrne look
40s?
Exactly the same? I couldn't. That's the thing. Is like I'm always in a comic book movie. Obviously, you're suspending disbelief.
Right.
But the rule of any kind of dramatic telling of anything that anybody who's ever taken an acting class or theater tells you, like, you can do anything in a world, but you need to establish the rules of the world.
Yeah.
So that we're all, as the audience, aware of the game. And now we play the game. But as soon as you start making up the rules and they start changing, you check out. And that's what they did.
Yeah, it was so much like that I was just like, oh, yeah, why have I never questioned that?
I don't know if that's why it failed or not, because I don't know that general audiences care as much. But to me, I was like, I felt betrayed as someone who's really been like following this, and I'm like, and you had Bryan Singer making the film, so whatever. I don't know. What else do we want to talk about? There wasn't a lot of like huge, crazy stories this week, so it's just, you got the dynamic duo here, catching up, talking things.
This is a regroup week, I think, because it's coming. Like, I thought about it. Someone posted, it's like, come July, like, we get BVS released, Killing Joke, Comic-Con, new Arkham games,
hot and heavy.
Then Suicide Squad. So it's gonna go. Yeah, this is kind of like the con before the Comic-Con.
It is a
Comic-Con storm?
It is the con before the Comic-Con storm. So, okay, just take that in a special world, in a side reality, Earth 12.
Okay.
Would you like to see Channing Tatum, assuming that there is no Gambit? Because that's what started us talking about this. Would you like to see him as Shazam?
People tell me, like, I think he's got that. I think he's a great actor, but I just don't like him in certain things. Like, he's great in 21 Jump Street. Foxcatcher, he was great, but, like, there's certain things. But so someone said Shazam, but then I thought, Guy Gardner. I think he's a great Guy Gardner.
Yeah, and you know how much I want Guy Gardner in the movie.
Right. I think he is a great Guy Gardner.
Here's the thing. I like him as Shazam because I don't see him taking himself seriously like in a Captain America way, but you have that with Shazam. You have the fact that it's a kid. But what do you think about him playing against The Rock? Because The Rock is kind of the same thing with me. It's like I've never seen The Rock take himself really seriously in a role that I really bought into it. As much as I like him.
I like The Rock. I love The Rock and his personality and who he is as a person, but he's almost becoming a personality instead of an actor.
Right.
And to me, I was trying to explain on Twitter.
Channing Tatum opposite The Rock, I don't know that I love that combo. Even though individually, I like both those flavors of ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel it's almost like a really fruity flavor, and then you're going to put it with, what's not going to go with a really fruity flavor? Everything goes with
like a spicy flavor?
Yeah, maybe a spicy flavor.
It's not
Although-
like a sweet and salty thing. It's
Yeah.
not. It's like a tart. No.
I don't find it as complimentary flavor. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts
I
on
just
Shazam and Channing? And Channing's obviously going to be some major superhero soon. So they're either going to do
Yeah.
something with this Gambit thing, and you know what? Maybe
me-
because there's no pressure, maybe they make an amazing Gambit movie and we all shut up.
But Channing Tatum, he does have that childlike quality to him sometimes.
Yes.
That I think is great for Shazam. I think
Great.
you need that.
Great. That's why I do think he'd be a great Shazam.
Because he's physically like
But
an
then I
adult.
would need Black Adam to be really straight.
Mark Strong.
Yeah, something
Like the
exactly.
guy played Sinestro. Like
Yes.
and I'm sure they'll put a wig on The Rock and make him or cut his hair differently, and he could look the part, but he's becoming like in all these movies. Like was it Central Intelligence that just came out? He's The
Yeah.
Rock. It's The Rock. He's not Dwayne Johnson.
And that's
he's a
not like lighting
personality.
anything on fire. I haven't heard anybody that was like, "You've got to see Central Intelligence."
I think it bombed already. I think
It just seems like another one of those like, "Yeah, we did it" kind of
like
things.
wasn't there?
And that's what I
Ride
mean.
Along
Like
2
The Rock
came
is
out
such
already,
a big
right?
star, but I'm not a fan of his movies. Like I'm really not.
That's the thing. Like The Rock, it's like he's this such a great person that people love him, but his movies, it's kind of like
I know I'm an old guy than most of you listening, but like to me, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger's not a great actor. I would say The Rock probably a better actor than Arnold. But
Yeah.
Arnold, I believed in those movies. You talk Terminator with me, you talk Predator, Total Recall, Commando,
it was his
Running
wheelhouse.
Man.
It was in his wheelhouse.
Like I bought him in those movies. I haven't had the same thing with The Rock. I know a lot of people want to say that he's taken the mantle, and it's a different time, and I am old, but there. I said it, world. What you
Yeah.
gonna say?
like Jumanji. That's what he's going to do, the remake. I could see him in that.
That's what he does.
I could see that.
I mean,
So, yeah.
So what was this that you wanted to talk about?
What else? What do you got?
A little rebirth stuff. This Joe Mad reveals his Justice League rebirth cover.
Johnny Quasto.
Okay.
And Johnny threw that up there. It was a rebirth. It was his kind of cover. I'm not
Okay.
big into the variant covers. I don't go for those. I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm not. My comic store, these guys line up in the morning and they got to go through the variants and pick all the variants. I don't care about that.
I don't care.
I,
Comixology is actually really hurting me right now because this is so easy and accessible.
Yeah,
and as much as I like having the pieces, it's like it's so easy to fly through those books, and they're so well lit and
love
the
the-
guided view.
I still love the hardcover.
I know. I love both. I've been mixing it up. But so, what are your thoughts on Rebirth so far? How are you liking it? Let's just talk about
God.
Rebirth.
Let's get into it. I guys, and I do on Twitter, guys, that you guys are out there. I do see all your talk about it. Sometimes, especially when there's the four of us on the panel, it's a little crowded to get talk on Rebirth. But
Yeah.
comics, especially we talk with John's, they're making it all part of everything. It's the movies, and if you look at it,
And
like,
The Watchmen.
yeah, the Wonder Woman is very much based on Gall's Wonder Woman. The look, it's very identical.
Here's the thing. Here's the one book I haven't read is I haven't read Wonder Woman because I'm still like 8 issues behind on the New 52 one, and that was the one thing. It was like if it translates, like I wanted to get the transition. Honestly,
You guys in the chat that read Wonder Woman, it almost seemed like of all the Rebirth titles, that's the one that was trying to not make apologies for, but fix, because there was like 3 different origins of Wonder Woman.
Right.
Like she's built from clay. One, her mother and Zeus had her.
Right.
And then there was the other one that where she was, champion of Paradise Island and went to man's world. So they take all these 3 origins, and it's about her finding out what's the truth and who am I? Which princess am I?
So she's almost caught up in her own legend.
Yeah, and apparently because the Rebirth
Schmott.
titles, they go twice a month. One is going to be present day, and one is going to be in the past.
Right, which I love telling one story, and it's all
Yeah.
Greg Rucka, right?
Yeah.
So
Which
that's
brought
so
him back.
cool.
Rucka was a huge DC guy back in the 90s. His whole Batman was the...
And Jurgens is back too.
yeah, his was all the no man's land, and apparently there was an outing of the 2 of them. If
Okay.
any of you guys, let me throw this out there. Any of you guys know any great comic book websites? Like, I don't know many good news comic book websites that are
Okay.
on, because I don't hear about all these shifts with creators
I
leaving.
mean, there's
and I'm-
comicbook.com, but
Yeah.
that's also a lot of news stuff
but
and
I
everything like that.
I never knew Rucka left DC. Like, they had this huge falling out. And
The 90s were very tumultuous for all the
Didn't know
best
that.
artists.
So if anyone
Marvel
can-
and DC, and that's when all the indie books broke out. But now it seems like the talent has come back to.
Yeah.
It seems like
they're more friendly,
and it also seems like they've given the artists more freedom to do their own independent books, their own creator-owned stuff, and work with the big houses, because it's important, I think, for Marvel and DC to have the talent, and not say like, no, you can only create for us, because otherwise, they'll go off and and
get their beaks wet somewhere
I've
else.
just been reading the Mark Waid stuff recently, the Irredeemable, all the era stuff. Somebody just told me about Black Science. Thank you very much. I checked that out.
I've been going off a little bit on weird stuff. Like there's one that was called Shotgun Wedding that came out a couple years ago on Top Gun. But then there's this great book out now called Think Tank. It's all like, it's almost kind of like the movie was a Real Genius, but like,
I love that,
superhero. So check out Think Tank. It's not DC related, but it's a great book.
Okay, so
but anyway, so Rebirth, like
Batman. I've read the Batman Rebirth. I read the Green Lantern. Green Arrow was very good.
Great.
Yeah, the two. How do you like the two minority?
I love it. Oh,
mixed sex lanterns.
Jessica Cruz. Oof, Jessica Cruz.
Yes.
You get a Latin lantern in there, I'm all aboard. Like that, I love. Like Superman, I'm excited for a Superman book.
Well, like, I'm excited because they brought back the Superman that I like.
But then Clark Kent showed up, and Superman's fighting Lex. And Clark's
I don't know what's going on with that. Do we know?
I have no idea what's going on.
It's very exciting.
But it's Superman. He's an adult. Like, it's Superman.
And he's got a kid, and somehow it's less annoying than in Superman Returns.
It's not creepy at all. He's not a deadbeat dad. But Flash is great. The art is great.
Wally West is cool.
I hope they keep it up.
Did you see the Titans?
Now, did Titans come out this week? Because it wasn't on my pull list, and I went looking for it, and I didn't see it.
I just saw the cover, so I don't know if it came out yet. I agree with you. I know what you're going to say, and yeah, it's easy to reboot. It's easy to restart. It's exciting, but then can you keep an exciting ongoing story for the next couple of years?
New 52 was good for the first year or two, but like John's is saying with the main titles, that whole Watchmen, that's like, I think he said 2 or 3 years as a story. That's going to be ongoing 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, they're not paying that off for a long time.
So
that's a long play.
I think that's fantastic. I love the fact that Ted Kord is back.
All right. Well, and I think ultimately, you should read Rebirth because it's going to give you clues to what's going on in TV and film. And it's all connected
this
now.
Superman that we're seeing right now, I guarantee we're going to see a more lighthearted Cavill when he comes back.
Oh yeah,
with probably a nicer, like a more colorful suit.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah,
they're going to.
Yeah,
because that's going to be the Superman when we get that film that in Rebirth has been out for 2 years now in comics. Yeah. They're gonna make it that guy.
You're right. Yeah.
So I think it's exciting. I think Jeff Johns and that whole thing was a great. Maybe the shakeup that had to happen with BVS not performing what it needed to.
Yeah.
Maybe it worked for the best. Everything happens for a reason.
There's one thing I really want to talk to you about that I did see from. Well, I have to talk to you after you see the extended cut because
don't talk to me.
It deals with like some of my biggest problems with BVS. But you know what? To get back to some movie stuff, we are a movie show. David Ayer addressed one of the most controversial topics out there, and that has been since day one. And it's almost like you can't cast a Joker unless you're going to do it controversially. Because if you cast a Joker or launch a new Joker that people are down with, it almost seems like it's going to be disappointing. So people hate the tattoos, they hate the grill, and Ayer was just like, just wait, okay?
He says right here, the tattoos tell a very specific story, and eventually people will decipher them and understand what's going on. But obviously, they're contentious. Anytime you do something new, it's contentious. There are very specific stories and Easter eggs in those tattoos.
Yes, and he also says about the teeth.
Let's see, did I get it here? Let me see, scroll down here. Yes, and even his teeth. There's an entire story behind that which is absolutely canon. It's putting his history on his body. This Joker's a little more working class, and I believe could live in our world.
And I immediately started to think of Batman 89.
Out by Batman?
Right. In Batman 89, when he knocks Jack Nicholson, he's like, "Hey, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?" Whoa! And he punches him in the teeth.
Wait, did you read Dark Knight Returns?
No, the Azzarello one-shot?
No. It's the prequel to Dark Knight Returns that done by
Azzarello. And Miller, yes.
I thought
The Last Crusade or
something. Saying Azrael, and I was like,
no,
Miller
Azrael.
Frank.
I haven't read it, but I know it's out this week.
What's his name?
For $6.95.
Romita. drew it.
Romita, yes.
It looks so. I didn't read it. It looks great. Oh my god, it looks good. Robin's in there, so it's getting great reviews too.
The funny thing is like Frank Miller is the funniest guy in the world because if you look in the back of like I think it was the last Dark Knight Master Race that came out.
Okay.
And they were doing
They're on
like
4, right?
There's 4, yeah. And I think it was in the letters page or whatever in the back of 4. And Frank Miller just constantly repeats, just to let you know, this is all Brian's show. I just added a few comments. Like he's very, and they were trying to spin it and be like, yeah, what was it like to work with Frank? And Frank's just like, oh yeah, just another thing. This is his story. He really wanted to make that clear, so it's funny.
All right.
Frank is cantankerous until the end. But no, is it good? Did you read it?
I haven't read it yet. I flipped through. It looks great.
See, that's when
The
I
art
don't want to
is-
get on Comixology. For some reason, I want to have that in my hands.
I was on the fence about Romita because he's now doing the Scott Snyder All-Star Batman that's coming out like in August.
And where does that fit in the canon? Where does All-Star Batman fit in the
That
canon?
is the Rebirth title, and it's all Rebirth stuff.
So, here's my question: when you follow Detective and Batman and All-Star, is it all one story, or are they all their own stories that are in the
I think
world?
what's
Like, how do
happening
you
with this
reconcile
Rebirth,
that?
It is all Bruce Wayne, just different stories, but it's the like on this timeline, it's straight. Whereas the old DC, it was like your Justice League and your JLA was Bruce Wayne in the suit. Batman title was Gordon,
Which is so weird.
and it was all this with Batman.
Yeah.
You're like one title he's here, one title he's not here. He's Batman. These are just different stories.
Yeah, and I like to really grab onto the continuity. So
Yeah, so it's across
even when
the
they do
board.
stuff like that, I like to see the little editor's notes, like, "Hey, this happened before this one. Hey, just so this makes sense to you, this happens after the events
Great
of
you
this,"
said
and they're
this.
keeping it together.
The guy that's doing Batman right now, they said their first 12 issues, it's like Star Wars. There are 3 sets of 4 issues each. Mm-hmm. So the first 4 issues are going to be a story arc. Second is 4 issues. Third is 4, and they're all going to be one long story, but it's like 3 little movies for his first run that's going on. So I think that's great.
That's cool. So,
Yeah, I'm
what
bored.
do you think about that David Ayer stuff? Like, what are your thoughts about all that? Getting back to the Joker and what people
I love
are going to
stuff
think.
like that. I love finding out. And you know, someone made a good article, and I'm against this, but is it Jason Todd?
Oh, it keeps coming up. That point keeps coming up.
Why is that not going away? And I don't know why. 'Cause maybe it is.
The reason to me that the biggest argument for it being Jason Todd is not the tattoos. To me, it comes back to that. How many good people are left? How many stayed that way?
Right.
Which implies that somebody was good that is really not good now. And that's the one little thing I keep coming back to. Like, what does that mean? How many stayed that way? Because it implies that somebody is left alive but didn't stay that way.
When it comes to a movie too,
And Jason Todd was a prick.
yeah.
To be honest, he was a prick. That's why they killed him. That's why they put him on the chopping block. He was the anti-Dick Grayson.
But
He was
who
a
killed
punk.
Jason Todd?
What?
Who killed Jason Todd?
Joker.
He killed. I thought Jason Todd is the Joker. Is that what people are saying?
No, that's what they're saying. Potentially could be but in the canon, in the
yeah,
comics,
of
yeah,
course.
Joker killed Jason Todd, and in that new Dark Knight Returns book, I believe, I read a review of it. The one you're referring to, The Last Crusade, or the one that is the prequel to Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
It has their interpretation of the Joker killing Jason Todd.
Right. And again, guys in the chat, like I don't think he's Jason Todd. I think this Joker is someone else.
But that won't go away.
But it's not. But it's just staying there for some reason. Like my whole Dick Grayson is in Suicide Squad theory. No one's talking about that anymore, but me. So I'm like, I still am hoping.
I'll tell
for
you
that.
one good thing you get if Jason Todd is the Joker, you get a Joker that can fight. That was actually trained by Batman.
It'll be
Which never
interesting.
makes sense to me. Like as soon as like a one-on-one fisticuffs thing goes down between Joker and Batman, like
Right.
that should not be a thing.
Right.
But if he was trained by him
Yeah, he can fight.
and he's younger, it's
That's a
interesting.
tough one. We'll see. What's a month and a half away? But I don't think anything will
You
be
won't even be
revealed in this-
revealed.
Yeah,
You won't
it
even
be
know.
yeah.
You will not know that. And if they do it well, they will take this thread out in the long way. Like they
But
will,
hey, it's the long game. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's go for it. I don't care. I mean, Marvel does that well. They plant the seeds that about the Stark history that came to light in Civil War.
Dark
So
history. I was
let's
just
do this.
exactly.
Let's go for it. We don't need everything right away.
No, definitely not. What else do we have to talk about movie-wise?
There's a lot of kind of like little stuff. I mean,
Yeah, there was a
there's
video.
the Metahuman video,
Right.
like DC, the Metahuman
Did you
thesis.
check out that video?
I did not.
Okay.
I thought it was linked to something with the Ultimate Cut, so I didn't want to.
What about the South Park superhero video game? Did you see that video? That was really funny.
I'm not a fan of South Park.
I thought it was really funny. I think their satire is spot on, and it's a really funny video. South Park making fun of all the joined universes, and it looks like they actually have a video game coming out. That's what they were promoting, so that's kind of funny.
Okay. DC Superhero Girls animated.
Superhero Girls animated feature has a trailer.
They are. I don't know if I read this correctly, but I think somewhere I read it's like they're doing like $1 billion in sales with this girl line.
Really?
It's huge. It's gangbusters. Like the DC is not dropping the ball with the female market, and even then, this is like a kids market too. So we've got
and we're even already talking about a Harley movie and like these DC superhero girls kind of being spun off somehow into their own film in the next couple of years.
And the Harley that we see in the superhero girls is not going to be the Harley in the film, but it's kids can.
I would think not
go for that. So I think that's great. I mean, they're ahead of the game on that, we should say.
Yeah.
What do we talk about? My faux pas at the beginning of the show, top of the show.
Oh,
Get into that big
that's
news.
right. So there was a little bit of news about Amber Heard, missing her costume fitting, guys. She was supposed to be in England for a costume fitting, which is weird because Justice League has been filming for a long time now.
What happened was she was supposed to have a court date for her brouhaha going back home here. So she went
allegations of abuse, Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow.
And she told the court, hey, I cannot make this. I have a fitting for a film.
Right.
So she flies out there. The producers see her and go, hey, come back when your camera ready.
Right. This is a rumor, right, that she was too skinny.
And apparently TMZ has pictures, we didn't want to link to them, of her in England and not looking, I guess 20 pounds. She's looking 20 pounds lighter.
Right.
Which she's dealing with, I'm sure, is physically taking a toll. And when she was originally signed on was a little more in shape.
The fan community is already saying, get rid of her. Get rid of her. She's going to lose her role. What do you think the odds are that we see? Now, is that assuming Justice League apparently has been filming for over 2 months or 2 months?
Yeah, but I mean, her stuff, they could keep it to the end. It's always, like we talk about, it's scheduling. Well, Amber Heard's filming this movie, or Heard, jeez, is filming this movie now. You guys can have her at the end of July. Like, okay, well, that'll work. Or, well, we can't use her then, so we have to recast. I think they probably were scheduled for her to shoot later. Or maybe they're all doing the Atlanta stuff all at one section.
You can't fire her because right now, as it comes out, nobody knows what the real story is with her marriage thing. But she's accusing someone of assault. If that's true, that's horrible. And then you can't fire someone that is a victim.
No, I think.
But you just don't know. And it is also a lot of it's noise, it's press, and that's
Look at the whole Singer thing. Back when Days of Future Past dropped,
they took Singer out of the promotion of that film.
That guy came out, and then it all came to, he lied about everything, but I was even like, oh,
didn't hurt that movie at all.
He's going down.
Did not hurt that movie, and Singer did not go down.
So caught up in the press of everything. It's like, we'll wait to see. I think Justice League is behind her. I think the people are like, no, this is what we want. Let's let it blow over. Let her get healthy. And I don't think it'll affect the movie one bit whatsoever, because that's going to come out 2 years from now.
Yeah, I think you're right. And as you said, Mira probably has a small role in Justice League, and
she's probably huge for her. I mean, obviously in Aquaman.
Yeah,
but her role's probably like Gordon,
Aquaman.
Like just a little bit of a side character in a couple scenes. But they want her looking good. So
speaking of Gordon, what did you think of the Gordon pictures?
Jim Gordon?
Yeah,
Jim, GYM. I think it's. I thought about it. I guess I haven't been on the show since that came out.
A couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks. It's catch-up day for Mikey Christmas.
I think, you think about it. Here's Batman's been in Gotham for 20 years, so Gordon's been in Gotham for 20 years.
Yeah.
He lives in this crap hole of a city. Why wouldn't he step up his game?
I think they both go to CrossFit,
To be a physical... I could see him bashing criminals around, like throwing them in the cell, bashing them in the back of a car, getting his hands dirty. I think it's great.
I think he's the kind of actor that likes to get in the headspace of the character that he's playing, and I think that he made a dramatic physical change in Whiplash and his posture and everything, and it really suited that character. I don't think you're going to see shirtless scenes with Jim Gordon, but I think that kind of internal strength to be the police commissioner is what he's trying to tap into.
And I think some of my friends, I guess, live near him, and they were telling me like they see him running all the time outside their houses. He's big normally. He's always been really in shape. I just think it's, he's around Batman, Superman all day. These guys, the actors filming, he's like, well, shit, I gotta step up my game here. So I think it's cool.
Meanwhile, Justice League has been filming since April, and we haven't heard hide nor hair. Now, very quietly, no leaked pictures. Again, probably because it's all green screen, so you're not gonna. There's no location
I think someone
shooting.
said it's like most of our stuff is sets,
right.
So we're inside sound stages, so you're not gonna get the leaks. And think about it, we never got pictures of Batman on the streets of Detroit. We never, and they were filming outside. They filmed, but we never saw Affleck.
But we did get Batman Suicide Squad.
Yes.
ASAP,
because they were
him on
they
the
were
car.
in the middle of in Montreal. You can't cover that.
I mean, it makes me a little nervous, just because I like to see more practical locations. I feel like it has more scope in an epic film, and I feel like
it's
it did feel very green screeny. Yes, it is.
We're not going to get.
And again, it's some people will say like, oh no, they can do anything on green screen. To me, I think it's a huge difference.
I'm with you.
Okay,
I'm with you. But to that effect, they built a Batcave. There's no green screen.
Hey, that looked great.
Batcave.
You don't need. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's an enclosed cave. I mean,
that's saying your sets that you're going to have. That look is going to be fine. He is really good with the practical stuff. So
yeah,
I do not like seeing leaked pictures of costumes because it just looks like crap. People take it all. No,
and then you piece together the whole story, and it starts to get annoying.
When you get Clay Enos doing a official picture and they release it, then it looks great.
Yeah, so we were going to talk a little bit about Wonder Woman, but it was really just kind of like a sum up of everything we know and everything we don't know about Wonder Woman up to this point. No real news about that coming out,
so
except the idea that like it could be happening on multiple timelines.
They're wrapped, aren't they?
Yeah, they're wrapped.
She did that picture.
She did that wrap. But I will be surprised and interested to hear when and how they go back for reshoots. Because I'm wondering if the broader DC cinematic story has taken any turns, and they're just kind of like, all right, well, in like 6 months or so, we're going to need to pick up this new stuff. Maybe they're doing more stuff in the present day.
James Gunn is very active on Twitter, and it's funny because we talk about reshoots being. Someone tweeted this morning, like, "Hey, are you budgeted reshoots?" And he's like, "Well, I always shoot reshoots. They're just the putty to fill in the cracks." Mm-hmm. So it's like the fan community is getting smarter about it. They're not like, oh. They're jumping ahead like, hey, you can do reshoots so we don't flip out. It seems like, that seems kind of cool.
I just feel like Wonder Woman is also the kind of film that like started production very early, and then there was like a lot of changes within the structure of DCEU that we kind of heard about. The John stuff, the Affleck stuff, that all came out when that film was already being shot. So I feel like there will be changes and tweaks to the schedule and to the films, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see, E3 stuff. You want to talk some video games? I know you and I both like video games.
Video games and then TV?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
E3 just hit this weekend.
Okay, so last week we all watched and collectively orgasmed at the Injustice 2 trailer, and I think now there's like 15 minutes of gameplay.
Actual gameplay,
Have you watched that?
I have.
And what did you think?
I think it looks more of the same from Injustice 1, but with a fresh coat of paint. And I say that lovingly.
But how do you like the idea that like you can add to the heroes?
I think it's fantastic.
That seems like a really cool element that's different.
It seems like, I think the story, fighting games, it was always like the fighting game, and we're going to tack on a story.
Right.
They changed that to me when they did Mortal Kombat 9, I think it was.
Okay.
But because they went back through 1, 2, and 3. Injustice's storyline is great. I mean, it's influenced the movies.
Have you read the comics?
Oh, I'm on season 5 or whatever.
So I was just about to start the first Injustice. Is it worth checking it out?
God.
And it does seem like the movie took a lot of that Injustice stuff, and I think that's why I was really.
Superman soldiers are from Injustice.
So that whole aspect
Flash's
of
costume is Injustice.
Right. That is so not my world with all that stuff. So I think that was jarring to me.
And each season is like
each season. So is that a year as a season? Like 12 issues?
Yeah. So they're like year 5 after Superman killed Joker. But like each season, like one season focused on like outer space with the Lantern Corps and how they deal with it. Then the whole season was magic with You'll love it, Swamp Thing.
Okay.
Swamp Thing, Constantine. Now they're season 5. This is getting like, I'm like, all right, you guys are stretching it. You need to wrap it up.
Okay.
But it's been 5 years with Bruce. Like, did you know what happened to him during it?
Injustice? No.
Oh God, you're in for a treat.
Oh
boy, it's fantastic.
How much do I have to read?
That happens early on.
Okay, good.
Injustice is great. So this Injustice 2, I don't think it's going to follow the comics. I think they're going to do their own storyline. But I love the fact of like, well, what are they going to do? Just add new characters? I'm like, but I love shooting games, and now they're taking that customization where you could do a loadout specific.
It
And it's
seems
the
like
armor
as
add,
you play the game, it's going to keep evolving. They're going to keep adding things to the game so that your Flash and my Flash are not going to be at all the same.
And there's also some people don't like that. I read there's a feature where you could turn that all off and you just play the fighting game. No upgraded armor.
Okay.
And some people are like, well, I won't get the cool powers. But the essential fighting game of hero versus hero with their powers is still the same. But now, I mean, Superman makes a great point. Like, Batman will use kryptonite gloves. If you want to fight some guy using Superman, you want kryptonite gloves.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. I'm excited to see the roster. I think they did a screenshot, and they only have 6 characters so far, but they had like 34 spots.
And they're going to keep adding them. That's the thing, is like the way these games do it
DLC.
now, it's all about DLC. So the game is going to, you're going to grow with this.
Blue Beetle in there. We could get
so much you could do with
anything.
Blue Beetle.
Oh my God, he's the tech
how
guy.
is the Green Lantern dealt with in Injustice, like the first game? The constructs and stuff.
How is it?
Are there a lot of cool constructs you can do? Because that always seemed like a hard thing to do
He had
in
a
a
machine
game.
gun. He threw arrows. He would create a jet turbine and threw it at you.
Yeah.
Green Lantern's done really well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how they keep that up.
I think it's in great hands. If anyone does a fighting game, it's NetherRealm.
So we
the Mortal Kombat stuff.
briefly dealt with the Telltale game. I said I just started playing Walking Dead.
I'm new to all that.
Okay.
That style. I'm new to that.
But
so.
I hear that what I'm playing right now is like the earliest version of that kind of thing, and it's going to get really
like
cool.
that company just started with that, and now I think they've got 3 games in their
But it's
belt.
still cool. I mean, I still like it.
It's a new
different
way.
It's different than when you're used to playing Uncharted 4. It's kind of it's a little bit of a jarring different thing, but
it's a new, and I guess they're going to be serialized. I think it's 5 chapters.
Yeah.
All will be finished by December.
Bruce Wayne too. Like it sounds like it's going to be the most
sometimes
Bruce Wayne.
You could do either Bruce Wayne or Batman to solve the mission. It's choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Like which way you go. So I'm excited for that. Should we get to Arkham VR?
Yeah, so this is
the
kind of
new
cool.
one.
So Rocksteady,
Who had said after Arkham Knight, we're done.
we're done.
No more. This is our story. We're done. And then Sefton Hill said, when we were given this opportunity, we could not say no.
So this is not going to be like a new Arkham game where you're fighting and stuff. This is like they said it's like a half-hour mission, and I think
Now
it deals with
this
like a VR, and it seems like it's a lot of that crime scene stuff. So you're Batman on you're probably going to be in like one room and solving one crime.
I don't know. I think.
Isn't that what the article says?
I have a friend that went, a buddy of mine, Scott Porter, who's a big video game guy, but he's a big actor, and he was playing it. So I texted him. I'm like, hey, let me know what it was like. So he was my hands-on.
He played the Batman thing?
He was there. He Instagrammed the picture with it. So I'm trying to get him to just kind of get back to me, going, hey, this is what it is. When you've got the Rocksteady team, I can't imagine it just being a room. From what I'm hearing, the people played it. You feel like you're in Gotham. Like you use the grappling hook.
Really?
They said the fighting is you don't really fight. It's more of like
That seems like
crime
that's
scene, which
very
is smart.
next level stuff.
You know, I don't want to be there like a weed, like doing this the whole time in my room. You know, I'm like, I don't know.
Imagine if you could do that though, and you get like Old Boy by the end of it. And, like then you go outside and you're actually kicking people's asses. Like there's been like some hooligans that are lighting off really loud firecrackers in my neighborhood.
Hooligans.
Yeah, they're hooligans, and they're making people's car alarms go off. And I'm like, all right, it's cool to blow stuff up. But like I had the idea of like I was gonna dress in black and just kind of plant myself in the tree and just like see if I can watch these guys and Batman the crap out of them.
Are you just gonna stand still and be like?
Well, I mean that's the thing, and then I realized, like, if they confront me, I do not have the fighting skills to handle a gang of hooligans. You know, I can't do that. And then if somebody sees me in a tree in a black outfit, like, I will probably get taken down.
Yeah.
The cops will get called on me. I'll get tased.
Will you have the headgear on too?
I was hoping for some
this,
kind of
like-
headgear. I'm thinking it's more the Batman Begins kind of headgear.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you think I'm going to have a cardboard on my head?
I think you're gonna have the Arkham.
You guys aren't it. I'm in a VR
the
situation.
The VR suit on.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Like I was not excited for this, but then I'm like, I hear all about it. It's Rocksteady, so they built goodwill. Over
Don't you think this is like an early thing of like where we're going now? Like this is like whole games are going to be like this.
I'm so jaded with VR ever since the Game Boy, Nintendo VR from the 80s with
Right.
the red lines. That's my idea of VR.
Right.
But apparently it's the new thing.
And mine is the Lawnmower Man with Jeff Fahey.
There you
But
go.
I mean, come on, we get the idea.
To each his own.
That was good. Any other video games? Those are the big 3, right?
I was disappointed. WB Montreal apparently has been working. They were the ones that did Arkham Origins.
Okay.
They have been working on a DC property for a couple of years now.
No, it's abandoned, scrapped.
No one is but it wasn't announced at this. Everyone thought it was either going to be a Superman game or a Suicide Squad. And the talk is, because people asked this guy Sefton Hill about it, it's like, what's going on? I was like, they're deep in production working right now on titles. They didn't say what titles, they didn't say if it's DC, but there was this huge
So wait,
talk.
who is this? So this is Rocksteady, or who is this?
WB Montreal.
Okay.
They're WB. I forgot who does with Rocksteady did the 3 base Arkham games. WB Montreal, they did Origins.
Right. Okay.
So they use the same engine. There's the same, but they've been working on a title because they didn't work on Arkham Knight. So they worked on something, but it wasn't released. So I'm kind of like disappointed. I thought we were gonna get a superhero.
It would be nice to
game
see.
or
It's
something.
like every video game has been Batman.
Yeah.
Since like the 80s. Like they really. I mean,
know.
there was a Superman N64 game. I want to say.
Oh God, yeah, I played that. Oh, it's terrible.
It was terrible,
Oh, God.
right? And maybe there was a Superman like before that, like
There was
Atari
not a
or
Man of Steel. There was a Superman
Returns game was pretty good on Xbox.
that was on Xbox.
You could fly around
Xbox
Metropolis.
360, yeah.
Oh, on
it
Xbox
was good.
360.
Yeah.
Worth checking out.
I agree.
I would say so.
Origins
Okay.
was great, guys. Whoever put that in the Twitter there or in the chat room, Arkham Origins was great.
It is good.
I loved Origins.
Okay.
It's the best. It's the best storyline. It's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, but I think that was all the news for superhero.
Oh, but they did say that you will have your Conroy and Mark Hamill back for this
the Origins
for
VR,
this
VR.
for the VR
Yeah.
thing. Which
We'll see.
We'll see.
And it sounded like Conroy in Injustice 2 as well.
Oh, really? Was he in Injustice Part 1?
Yep.
Yep.
Is that a game I need
Yeah,
to
because
get,
he
or
does
should I
say
just
something
get
to
Part
him.
2?
He's like, Aquaman talks to him and he says something to him, and it is Conroy.
I have Injustice on the iPad, but it just doesn't seem
I
like
can't
there's
play
like
those. No,
you're not
you're
doing
just
a
doing
lot.
this. You're like,
Yeah.
I like my fighting game. I'm
Yeah.
on board. We're going to TV time.
All right.
I feel bad.
To do it without?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do Roxy Strider. Let's do her dirty.
It's time for Roxy Strider's
TV time. Sing along with me. It's time. Roxy Strider's TV time. She thinks that the Flash is fine.
But DC movie news is time to talk.
TV time!
With our missing crown jewel.
No Roxy Strider.
But
The biggest news of DC
I
this
feel
week.
bad. She's not here and we get this huge
This is
news.
the biggest piece of news that we have cast Superman, the Man of
And
Steel.
The guy, I was talking to one of the producers here before the show. He's just too good looking. This is not fair. This
Too
guy-
good looking
Look
of
at
that?
him. Not
Yeah.
for Superman, just as a
Just in
person.
general.
I see him. I'm
Not
like, what
fair.
the fuck is going on with this? This isn't fair.
I hope he has some real serious phobias that make his life difficult because the universe needs to balance things out.
And the fact that there was talk, I remember this guy because back when CW was talking, or we wanted, or whatever.
He looks like Dean Cain a little
but they
bit too.
said that he would have been a good Bruce Wayne, and he would have.
Yeah.
He looks like a great Batman, but he's great. It looks like Superman. I'm a little upset that he's only 28. I would have liked
No,
Superman
that's-
a little older,
that's the
especially
perfect age
to
for
balance out
CW-ish kind of
It is
thing.
for, but CW, a couple other roles we're going to talk about, they cast older too. I mean, now we've got Green Arrow's older than Superman.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Well, I always like
He's
to
almost
take
10
that
years older.
Kryptonian's age a little bit
there
differently.
you go. Okay.
So he's
Yeah.
been Superman for 10 years. He's aging. He's in his 30s, whatever, Kryptonian years. Are you familiar with the actor's work?
I'm not. He's Teen Wolf is his big thing. I'm not familiar with him as an actor.
So what I get from the casting is like they did not get any kind of a name. They didn't get anybody that anybody knows.
I read Berlanti and Guggenheim wanted to work with this guy for a while.
Okay.
They're fans of his.
Did you read Kreisberg's comments?
was it?
It seemed like Kreisberg's comments about how they weren't really looking to do Superman. It was never anything they wanted to do.
Right.
It seemed like Kreisberg's comments were very much sort of like supporting Supergirl. Saying like, hey, this isn't like
this is
to
her,
save
not-
Supergirl.
Okay.
Like this isn't something we wanted to do, but now we had this idea and it was all a creative idea.
Yeah.
And it's not like something we needed to do to save the show. That's how I interpreted it.
Okay.
How big a part do you think he's going to have? What do you think? Do you see Superman going to other CW shows?
I don't know, but it's gonna happen now. I think.
I mean, do you
can't-
see alternate Supermans? Could this guy be like, Legends of Tomorrow goes off and we have like JLA in the future? Could he be like Superboy Planet 85 million or something like that?
I don't know. I haven't watched enough Supergirl to back it up with theories.
I pretty much watched every episode of Supergirl. It got really weird to the point where like, all right, Superman could fly here in a second. Like,
Right.
he saved her early on in an episode. It's going to be interesting to see where they pick up with the cliffhanger that happened in Supergirl last year. There was a pod, something was in there. We don't know. I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm curious as to what suit they go with.
Will they explain where he was then for this past year if he was not in this pod?
She was in contact with him. She was always emailing him.
See, so I don't.
She was always. He was always there, but it were always from very much like Doogie Howser at the end of the show, and he'd be like, "Hey, Cal."
Okay, all right. So
I don't know. What do you? I want to say like, I'm nervous that it's not going to look good, but they're doing really good things with the effects these days, and Superman has been on TV since the 50s.
Everything, like, I think they stumbled a little bit with Red Tornado when he came on. That look of him.
That did not look great.
But like Martian Manhunter, every costume we've seen, like the Hawkgirl, Hawkman.
A lot of questions. It seems like there's been casting this week. You got like
I'm gonna
Lex
start watching
Luthor's sister.
Supergirl now, so it got me involved.
Are you going to try to catch up on the past season?
I will try and read that. I've got the whole summer, so I'll catch up.
And also today, I don't have them in front of me, but I know the premiere dates for Flash, for Supergirl.
Was it October 5th?
Oh, is it?
Flash. I only saw Flash. I think it's the 5th of October.
Oh.
I think.
It seems quick. It seems so soon already. But
it's only June.
Yeah, I guess it is. There's a whole
But
summer.
also we had on Legends, actor Nick Zano was cast as Steel.
Here's where I need to defer to Mikey's character corner. I have no idea who that character is, but he looks awesome.
Commander Steel.
Do you know anything about this guy?
A little bit. I thought he was part of a group called Infinity Incorporated. Which were younger versions of the JSA.
Okay.
Or siblings or
and we're getting JSA in Legends
so I think
next
that's
year.
where he's coming through.
Okay.
But they're saying he's not Steel, he's just the alter ego, which is a doctor, a professor. I will definitely get into character corner, guys, and I do apologize. We've been a little behind on the character corner. I'm doing a big Suicide Squad on everyone, it's been kind of taking my time on.
You know what I love about Legends right now is like the idea that you can do a totally different story every season and change the cast a lot. I feel like it allows you to tell story in a reasonable amount of time. Like these threads that I just don't know when they're going to pay off. It's very frustrating. But like we had a big bad this season. We dealt with it by the end of in like 16 episodes or whatever. And it's done. And now you're moving on, and some people aren't coming back.
It's streamlined storytelling. Whereas at Arrow, you get filler episodes or flashbacks, and you're just like, oh man.
But now also, if you get Captain Cold appearing on Flash or Arrow, we've spent this whole other show. We have so much more invested in the character. Like you can learn and live with these characters so much more on Legends, and then when we see them show up on Supergirl, Arrow, or Flash, you're like you're familiar with them. It's great. I think Legends is the best thing they have going for them right now, and I hope that they keep switching it up like that. I would love to see this Superman that was just cast show up in some alternate thing, maybe even with an evil Superman in an alternate timeline kind of thing. Like there's a lot of places you can go. What do you guys think of the Superman casting? Are you excited about it? How judiciously do you think that they're going to use the Man of Steel in the Berlanti universe now that they've got it? And is Batman to come? Are you going to get the first Batman on television since Adam West? Is that going to happen?
I don't know.
Or Nightwing? Maybe a little Nightwing shows up. It seems like that would be more likely.
Trying to pull up the return dates right now. I don't know. It's all over the place here. But this is interesting. But also then we had, a couple more. All announcements happened this week. We had Wild Dog, I should say, being added to Arrow.
And
by
also
Rick Gonzalez.
And also the Vigilante.
Aiden Sloan, I believe his name is. They're not saying he's the Vigilante yet. He is a DA that is going to eventually turn into Vigilante.
Okay.
His name is Vigilante. It's not a Vigilante. He's the Vigilante. And again, I'll character corner all these characters. Like Wild Dogs are going to be introduced, I think, in a 5-story arc.
I'm going to be checking out your character corner.
It's going to be. We're getting all this great news now, so it's going to be great. But they're just casting because they're going to get ready to film soon. They're writing their first couple episodes, so they'll start filming soon, so that they're ready for September. So I've got the premiere dates right here, but it's just really not listing them. It's just saying, oh, here we go. Flash is Tuesday, October 4th at 8 p.m. Arrow Season 5 will premiere the following night, which is the October 5th. Then Legends will be Season 2 on October 13th.
Okay.
Supergirl debuts Monday the 17th. So Flash is the 4th.
So you have 2 weeks of DC premieres, it looks like.
Yeah, so Flash is the 4th, Arrow's the 5th, Legends is the 13th, Supergirl's the 17th. All in October.
Wow.
There you go.
All that
Huge.
In October.
Huge.
And I'll be going to the desert trip too. That October 7th to the 9th. Desert trip. You know what that is? That's like the old Cella.
Coachella?
Old people Coachella with Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, the
Sounds
Who,
good.
Neil Young. I'm excited. I'm gonna get with the old people. I saw Bob Dylan and Mavis Staples last night actually at the Shrine Auditorium.
Really?
Yeah. Dylan is doing a lot of Frank Sinatra songs these days. A lot of crooner. It sounds
He's a
like
crooner.
this. You never talk about it. This is what it sounds like these days. Junkies.
All right.
I guess that's it, guys.
That's it.
We didn't fight at all. We were a dynamic
That was
duo.
very peaceful.
It was very peaceful. You know why? Because, as you said, there's a lot of negative things going on in the world, and we don't need to fight about this stupid shit.
No, just at the end of the day,
We're lucky enough that we get to care about this stuff, you know?
Yeah, just, it's a good thing because we kind of have differing opinions and not to get political at all, but you guys can have different opinions and it's okay. We argue on Twitter, but if I get into it with Twitter, so we get back and forth with people, it's all out of a place of love and everyone's allowed to have their opinion. Just let them have it. And life's too short, man. I just, this past week has sucked.
Yeah. All right, but we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Hopefully we'll have more of a squad next week. Maybe we'll have some more news next week.
I think we'll have the whole squad. I hope.
Catch FX Movie Download this week. I think we're doing Man of Steel. I'm Adam Gertler, at Adam Gertler.
I'm Mike Kalinowski, at Mike Kalinowski. Character Corner. We'll be back better than ever, stronger than ever. We got some great stuff coming your way, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Peace out, DC!
Out!
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Kristian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.